And once you are finished with it, survey is done, you can go here, click here, you can download. So it will download your data as a CSV file. Okay, so that's an advantage, that if you say, okay, I have done my survey, all you have to do, go here and click download CSV file. So it will give you a CSV file which it can bring it to Excel. That's normally the case. So let me show you a data set again, so that we show you how to handle data. And I'm sure some of you are fully familiar with it, some of you may not be. So let's say I have done a very recent survey. Yeah, so this is a very recent survey on Muhuri irrigation project. So just an example for us to think through. Okay, so this is the same way I have collected data, and once I have collected data, but this was they have done actually on a did not use COBOL toolbox. This was this other organization done it. They have collected the data, have entered the data in Excel. So you realize that they have entered the data in Excel, and some responses yes, some responses as numbers, some responses not numbers. Then we have said already that responses without number does not really make sense, because analysis of data will be in numbers end of the day. So how to organize this? This is a question that often happens to all of you. You might say, how do I know how many different types of response has come? Okay, so I'm showing you an example here. So for example, so let's think about this one. So I'm going through this one, and I realize that when they give a number, sometimes they say this is in taka, and sometimes they say taka in decimal. So you realize the units are not same, because response have given differently. So I need to know that which one is in taka, which one is taka in decimal. So I need to recode it. I want to make sure these are coded properly, which means if it is taka, I want to give them some numbers, one, and if it is part decimal, I want to give another one. So if you want to do it here, you can do a control H replace. But I don't know how many different options, because there are 800 data. So if so many data, we don't know how many of them. So that's one way, and this is a command that you might be aware of it. I don't, okay, which is you go to a sheet, just create it. So let me erase this one. So I said, okay, I want to know from this sheet how many different types of response are available. So the idea is simple. There is a command called unique, and I write equal to unique, and then I give him the link. I said from this column, from here till the end, till the end. So remember, G3 colon G263. I close the bracket and hit return. So it collected that there are actually three types of response. Some has 0, some has taka, and some has taka per decimal. So see, I do not have to look at every single data and to find out how many. 0 means no response. See, there is no response. So there are no response. So they said some of them has no response, some of them has taka, some of them per decimal. So I said, okay, what do I want to replace? I said, look, if you find a taka, recode it as 1. If you find it taka per decimal, recode it as 2. And if it is 0, probably it is taka, recode as 1. So I have just created my coding already. And if I created the best example way to do it, you go there, write the same column where the data has to be created, and create a new column. So I created a new column, and I said I want this to be there. So for example, this columns, I'm just erasing it just to make an example. So I said this was Q27, this was the question number. So I give the same question number so that I know it is exactly the same question. This was A means alphabetical, and this is without alphabets. And I said VLOOKUP, very simple idea. Find this taka, go to this sheet, and I block this, and I said, and put in F4, F4 means dollars. And I said, if you find the taka, this is the second column, put the second column, and if it has to be exact match. So it finds taka, it put 1. And if I double click this, See, immediately finds per decimal, put 2. It finds nothing, put 1. So it has recoded everything for me in a second. Something you may be aware, may not be aware. So it has done recoding of my data in a second. So sometimes you have alphabetical, the many data has alphabets in it. I can show you many data that they had alphabets in it, and we needed to recode it. So you said, for example, who has collected the entered the data? I don't know how many people collected. So if I want to know how many people collected, all I have to go create a dummy sheet, and I said here, unique, close the bracket, go to any sheet I want, and I said I want to know who has actually collected the data. So I close from here till the end, and I close the bracket, make return, and it says that in this sheet there are only 2% collected data, and there are people without name. So I know exactly how many options are available. Uh, I have collected information from them, respondent mobile number. So this was, if I just show you this was a physical questionnaire. So if I show you the physical questionnaire to make sure that what it is, the questionnaire is more complex than one. So this is an example of a filled out questionnaire. So see, questionnaires was collected. This is real example. It's a government organization, so they were doing it. So this is how they have collected the data. So they have collected the data and they have entered the data into the Excel sheet. So remember how it has come. This is how they have collected. So the data is quite complex. This is a lot of tables. So they collected data in many sheets, not in one sheet. So each one has gone to a different sheet. Okay. So that's how they have collected the data. So once they have collected the data, we need to organize the data, and we'll show you how to organize the data. So my point is that you can see a example that how they have real life collected the data, and based on the data sheet, we have all the answers. So that's what we normally do. So this is a hard data sheet, and I was showing this soft one also. Whatever happens, end of the day, we get the data that looks like the Excel sheet. So we said, okay, this is an Excel sheet. I probably have two Excel sheet open here. So this is an Excel sheet, and you realize, for example, they have you logged the name of the unit of the land. Some area is Kani, some area is Biga, some area is acre. So I don't know how many different types available. So what I do, I immediately create a new sheet, and I said, okay, again unit. It's a fantastic command. I like it because it's easy. I don't have to think about it. I go there and I said, I want to know how many different sheets, different types of land units are available in this data set. So I close here and I close the bracket, and immediately says there's some data, there is nothing, but it's only three types, Kani, Biga, and Ek. So that's immediately said, okay, there is only three types available, and that's what is. Nothing means actually in decimal. What we mean, the questionnaire was designed that if there is no, so the questionnaire is designed in such a way that uh, if it is decimal, don't ask this question, but if it is not decimal, ask the question in which unit. That is why 0 means is decimal. We know the way it was designed it. So I'm just giving you that if you are collecting data like this, which is a lot of text, and if you want to convert them into options, it's easy, just use that. And then you can, this is different kind of low lift pump operators are collected all this information. So some of the information in numbers, some of the information in yes, no. But we know the data eventually cannot be yes, no. It has to be a number, not text. So we can convert them into text. Very simple example here. For example, this one, I know this is yes, no. I want to convert them into numbers. So how do I do it? Insert a row. That's what I do. I put the same name, Q121, but two numbers. So I normally put this as A. A means this is alphabet, and this is numbers. So how do I do it? I go to a sheet again. I put this command called unique because I need to know how many choices are available. I go back here. I'm showing it several times, so make sure that we understand how to do it because you will be doing it every time. So you set this one and close the bracket, hit return. So it says there are three types of response. Let's say this is 1, this is 0, and this is nothing. So basically nothing. So we said, okay, if these are the cases, I want this to be changed into here so that I know the new data when we collect will be here. So we said we look up. Whenever find you this one, left one, we said go to the sheet, look into this block. F4 means dollar sign, so we put the dollar signs. We said if we find yes, put the second column, and 0 means exact match. So we said, oh, found out. So immediately we put here, and this is what happens. They found out blank and still put a 0. So we may not want a 0. If we do not want 0, then we said, okay, right here we put this. So we put this means double quotation or a simple one quotation, and immediately if it is one quotation, is space is there is nothing there, which means this is basically nothing there. So if I want, so in other words, only 1 and 0 is there, as it's a 1 and 0. So that's how we can reconvert any data into numbers. Remember, now this is already here, and if I change anything here, this thing will change. So I convert this back. So I said copy, right click, and put values. So when I put values, this now is no longer linked with my previous page. So now I can erase it. That's how it works. So if I say I want to erase it, make sure it is not linked. Again, unique. I go here, I come back here, and I go to the last column, which is up to here. Close the bracket, link here, and it says that I have found out 4 different things. What are the 4 different things? Some of them has such LLP operator, some of them have neighbors, some of them 0, others, and some of them 0 means nothing. So if nothing, I put one quotation return means this is space. If it is LLP operator, I put 1. If it is neighbor, I put 2. And if it is this, I put 3. So realize I created my coding. So this is my response, and this is my code. So I have created a code. So now I go back here, and I said, I want this code to be written here because that's how my data should look like. So we look up this one, go back to this sheet, and I said, this is the block. Remember, I am not taking the other one. So this is the response block. And I said, if it is the first one you find out, use the second column. Put F4. F4 means dollar, comma, 2, comma, 0. 0 means exact match. So it's already put it there. If I double click this corner, it has already created my code. And that happens a lot of time when you collect data. You'll find out that your data in Google Sheet in particular, if it is not given number, it will collect this way. And this sheet normally I create like this. So I can keep this separate and make a new one here. That's also possible. So this would be my, in a way I can say this is my course. So I can keep my course right here. We know which code, and we can say here Q122. So I know in Q122 this is the code. I can put another one, and for example, yes, no. So we can say, look, if I say yes, no, Q123, and again I said there is a response and a code. So I can put another one here, and I can say unique, and we can go to question 1, 2, 3. Remember question 1, 2, 3. So we go to question 1, 2, 3. Oh, should be 1 to 4. So 1 to 4, and we go to the bottom and close it and bracket. So we know it is question 1 to 4. So that's you actually keep a record of how you have recoded it. We realize there are 3 things. 1 should be 1, this should be 0, and null should be space. So I've already created this one. I go there, and I said 1 to 4A. Remember this one, I'm going to insert a column. This is 1 to 4A, and this will be question 1 to 4. So realize that I have two columns with the same name. That's what I said. Again, VLOOKUP, comma, this one, comma. I go to my codes and I said these are my codes. Put F4, comma, 2, comma, 0, which means second column, exact match. I put it here, it comes right here. And I double click at the corner, which means all of them are coded already. So actually, you can actually do all the coding into the Excel sheet. It's a very easy way to do it.